Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to another PAD Leg Saver Hotline podcast. I'm with my amazing co-host, Douglas. You've had a really big day today. Not the most fun way to kick off the year, having to spend it at the doctor's office. I know so many have over the past few days, but you want to bring us up to speed on what you went through today?
Yeah, welcome to another day in paradise, another day in the journey we call life, right?
Yep, it's always a roller coaster, isn't it?
Yeah, the ups and downs, the 3 steps forward and 4 steps backwards, and sometimes you got to dance to the left, sometimes you got to dance to the right. Sometimes you just stand in place
Sometimes you got a do-si-do.
or just stand in place and do the Macarena. Just do the Macarena
Yes,
and everything.
Karina.
But yeah, and it's the insanity of living with the disease in it, and all the things that come with it. So, like you say, the roller coaster ride of the good days and the bad days, and one thing leads to another, and then another, and sometimes another. And as we get older, we begin to wonder, well, oh, all those years of all doing all those things I did to myself are catching up to me now.
Yeah.
All the
Gosh, don't we all have that?
So and it's that insanity. And driving home this afternoon, it all those thoughts run through my mind about the roller coaster ride of living with a disease. And this past week for me has been, I'm just going to be brutally honest. This past week for me has been horrible. It's been
Mm.
absolutely horrible. I haven't been to sleep in 3 days because of my leg. And
Yeah, did they figure out why?
no, she thinks it's my back. She's not real
Yeah.
sure.
You know, the thing is, and what's really hard is that we all, as we age, we have back issues. All of us do in some form or fashion, right, Douglas? And it's hard to tell what's going on in your legs because your back can cause leg symptoms. I mean, it can cause neuropathy. Your back can cause neuropathy clear down to your toes. And you don't know sometimes if the symptoms you're experiencing are vascular or if they're neuropathic. It's really, really tough. And you can never wait. You always, 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 if you have any question, you need to call the doctor. You need to do what Douglas did. And you need to say, hey, something's not right. And you need checked because it could be neuropathic. And that would actually be, it's not fun, but it's a better case scenario than it is if it's vascular. But if it's vascular and you're having these sudden acute symptoms of, swelling, you think of swelling, maybe your foot is cold, you might have acute pain suddenly in your thigh, whatever it might be. You don't know if there are blood clots, and it could be arteries, it could be veins, but you always need to. You can call the Leg Saver hotline at 1-833 PAD Legs, as Douglas even did today, and called and said, "Hey, um, I've got some symptoms. Can we get them checked out?" And we were able to expedite and get them in today. Thank goodness. So it sounds like there was nothing acute, which is good, but it you don't want this experience to have you second guessing whether or not you're going to get checked immediately the next time you experience that, because those same symptoms could mean something vascular. So I'm glad you got them checked out, and I would suggest everyone
How,
get
how,
checked out.
how many times do we hear in the group, uh, do do we call the doctor or do we not call the doctor?
Right.
Is it just a twitch or not just a twitch? Is it just a little bitty? Maybe I slept wrong last night. Maybe I did this. So, and getting that second opinion or getting another opinion at that moment, yeah, it is important to understand. So I went to Houston. I know she made the comment that I got good blood flow to my legs. I don't have the best, but I do have collateral nation. Yes, but and then I'm
Just
driving home.
walk, walk, walking.
Yeah, and so I'm still driving home without an answer, and that kind of it's a good thing, but it's still a question because I haven't been to sleep for 3 days because my leg hurts so bad. It's kept me awake for 3 days. No matter what position I put my body in, it's beyond. It. I
Yep.
driving home today. My pain level was a 9 driving home. Barry had to stop twice. So it's like
Yeah, and to me that sounds neuropathic from sitting.
and so it's like I'm sure some of us can remember when we first started this journey before we were actually diagnosed with PAD. Well, maybe I pinched a nerve. Maybe I did too much. Maybe I'm working too hard. I'm not eating right, or some other all those things we tell ourselves before we actually are diagnosed with PAD. How we kind of justify or we rationalize it until that moment that we have our brain tells the other part of our brain, "Uh-oh, something's going on here. I really need to see a doctor." The day I fell in that yard, mowing that yard, my brain goes, "Uh-oh, we have a Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have literally Houston, we have a problem.
We have a problem." And
Literally.
how often do we hear that in this group from people who share with us about? I was on the phone the other day with a lady, and she said, "I've been doing this for a year, and I just keep thinking it's this or it's that or it's this." And Kim knows as well as the rest of how many doctors say, "Well, it's your back, it's this
Yep.
or it's that."
But that's why we always say, go get checked out, go get a vascular evaluation and make sure. But there are some clear symptoms, like if you're sitting and you have that kind of level 9 pain, it must be neuropathic coming from your back. I was a professional water skier and I would hold the rope with my foot. I can't tell you how many times I literally let my sciatica would be on fire because I would almost sit sometimes and be lazy and I wouldn't be in form, and you have to be fully upright and have your ballet form and be like a marionette and pull up. But sometimes you get lazy, and so I'm holding onto the rope with my foot and I'm kind of sitting into my lower back and into my butt, and it would squish like that sciatic nerve and it would fire up, and no matter what I would do, laying in bed, sitting, whatever it was, it would just send shock waves through my body, and I was just like my legs were on fire. And so that can be really really painful. And when it comes to that kind of thing with the neuropathy, and I know when it comes to PAD, you're not walking as much, you might be sitting a little bit more, you might be overcompensating with one leg versus the other. And so it's really important to get a referral to a PT. But we also have a great in group at padsupportgroup.org, a great resource in Kevin Thomas Morgan. And today we were just talking about core strength and some exercises that people can do to build up their core. If you build up your core, it actually takes some of the pressure off of your back, and it helps a lot of people to end up walking further and faster. So I think that that's something that we should
Yeah,
check into with Kevin and actually do a show just on some back exercises to help strengthen,
and
you know, that
my
area.
leg hurts sitting, standing, no matter what position I am in, my leg
Yeah.
hurts. But at the same time, here's something a little. I'm gonna bring this up to y'all. Here's something a little funny. I I I saw the lady. She says, "Let's do an ultrasound." So I'm laying on the table. Now, how many of you have done this? I close my eyes and I'm waiting for that sound.
Yeah.
And she goes, "What are
Bounding
you?"
pulses.
She goes, What are you listening to?" I said, "I'm listening to my life and my limbs talk to me
Mhm.
because
Yep.
you hear that whooshing sound, and we all get used
Yeah.
to it now, don't we?" And it's
Yeah.
something that we look forward to when we have that done, especially if we're further along in the journey. Because every time I hear that sound, I know blood is going where it's supposed to be going in his
Yeah.
body.
Mhm.
So that's one of those. Just close your eyes, lay there, and wait for the sound. And it's a marvelous sound. That sound is amazing when it goes that whooshing
Mhm.
sound because you know you got collaterals or you know you got blood flow. So I just thought I'd bring
Yeah.
that one up. I thought it was funny laying there listening to that sound. It's like, oh, it's
Oh,
you.
that's a good sound.
That's a good, you
I would
know.
love to hear. And I see, Beth nodding. I know Marie's here, Imelda's here, Brenda's here, Thomas is here, Allie's here. Oh my goodness, we got a whole um, in studio audience filled and filled and filled and more. I can't get to everyone, but would love for everyone to chime in. Douglas has opened up a little Pandora's box there. There's so much to unpack with it. And I know so many of you can relate to that. So if you want to weigh in, share, tell us what's going on with you, um, relate to his experience. Beth, I see you unmuted.
I've been unmuted, sorry. But I did
Okay.
have some things happen today. I did have an MRI on my abdomen. I had they'd found some lesions on my liver and on my spleen. And they didn't really say too much about the spleen. However, the ones on my liver came back as hemangiomas. And then a
To Google
hemangioma
that.
is like a hemangioma is like a big blood vessel. It's like a big old clot of blood.
Okay, like a
That's what a
hematoma.
hemangioma is.
Okay.
Yeah, kinda. But then they also said that I had mild bilateral I can't say it. I'll spell it. It's PERINEPHRIC.
Okay.
Strand is stranding, and it's got something to do with the kidneys. So I was just like, it's just been one thing after another since it just seems like since I've been diagnosed with PAD, everything else has been hitting me. And I'm just, I don't know what to think anymore. It
Yeah.
gets frustrating. It really does. Because it's like we get to the point where we think that things are going good for us, and then all of a sudden it's like something else hits. I'm not
Do
going to
you
Google.
find that with PAD, do you find that um we had someone tell us today that you end up being because of the dismissive nature of PAD and having to go as long as most of you have before diagnosis, that even after diagnosis, every little twitch, every little twinge, I think Douglas brought it up, um,
Yeah.
you know, temperature changes, like people talk about, and I was just noticing today that people say, oh, yeah, well, my butt's really cold or my abdomen's really cold despite wearing sweatshirts. And I was just noticing, I mean, I don't have PAD, but my abdomen is cold, my butt is cold despite wearing sweatpants and whatever, like cold to the touch. My feet are cold 24/7 in the winter. I probably could do a better job, maybe getting some wool socks. I don't know. But because you have PAD, you're more sensitive to this because you don't get the answers and feel like you have clarity from your doctors. You are more sensitive to this. You're more freaking out. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory because we all freak out. My own things I freak out about. Um, but you end up just being sensitive to all of these mm, little nuances that you might feel. We had someone I was just on the phone with on the Leg Saver Hotline a few minutes ago, and she has a bruise on her foot, and she's on Plavix. She does have two vessel runoff to the foot, but she doesn't know like this bruise is really painful. Well, is it my vascular? Am I going to lose my leg? Well, if you didn't have PAD and you had a bruise that really hurt, would you think of losing a body part? No. Would you
Oh,
think it was anything other than holy crap, what did I bump into that I don't remember bumping into? And man, I must have pumped it really hard. What was I doing? Um,
Right.
but because also being on Plavix, it exacerbates it and makes the bruise a little larger.
Mhm.
So, I
But
mean,
I
all
think
of
you're
these
right, Kim.
things.
I think you're absolutely nailed that on the head because
Mm.
we do become that more sensitive to little things. And now, how hard is it not to over exaggerate a little condition than it was before? You know what I'm talking about, Beth, right?
Yeah, I think I do.
And so,
It's
in
like
other
it
words,
could be small and then we make it more bigger than what it actually is because of, is that what you're saying?
yeah. How many times a day do I become a drama queen just because I have a little twitch here or a little twitch there, like Kim is saying, and then
Yeah.
and thing I know, I'm on Google and I'm dying again.
And people don't understand what we're going through because, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like we try to explain what's going on within a certain part of our body, and they're like, "Oh, you're over dramatizing it. Come on." And it's like, dude, walk in my shoes for one day. Walk in
And
my shoes, and
how
then you understand on what I am saying and how I am
do you
feeling.
do you think that you would be this sensitive if you hadn't been dismissed so many times prior leading up to a diagnosis of PAD? Because I don't feel like a lot of times I'm kind of like, whatever. So my joints hurt. So this hurt. Like, whatever. I must have walked wrong. I must have done this or whatever. And I don't pay attention. Except when it comes to my hand, which, as you know, after the COVID vaccine, I lost use of my right arm for just about a year. And it took anti-inflammatory injections and PRP to get my fingers to unweb and the swelling to go down, but I still have a little spot of tissue kind of attacking itself right here in this part. And every little twinge, every little if I wake up, one morning and one finger kind of has shooting pain or something, I'm more sensitive to it than I probably would have been prior to this. And so I can imagine it's the same thing with your legs that you have this PAD diagnosis. You have so many people, and I know with mine, people brushed me off for several years until I went to a couple of rheumatologists that finally figured it out. But um, I'm just curious if it's kind of
It's
like that
thinking.
same thing.
That's a thinking process. The thinking because this morning, all those thoughts went through my mind. I don't want to. I need to drive, but it's probably not safe for me to drive. But I don't want somebody to waste their whole day driving me over to Houston. And this will go away, and all the things that we tell ourselves, like you're saying about why we don't want to call somebody or call the doctor, and we think about all these things and we rationalize and we justify. And so, yeah, I was thinking, well, my neighbor's got to drive me to Houston. I don't want him to drive over if there's nothing really wrong with me, but I'm hurting. So, how many people out there can understand that and know what that feels like?
Yeah, Imelda, do you know what that feels like? You're nodding your head. Go ahead. Unmute.
Um, it's the kind of thing where I'm so old that I don't know how much what going on with me is just due to aging. And I start going, am I wasting my time and money just trying to take care of this old body? Should I just give it up? Um, I thought about Beth recently. I thought she's had several strokes. I had one stroke when I was 36 years old, and I thought I was fine for a lot of years because I seemed to have recovered. But now I've got other effects. Now I have trembling in my abdomen. It's supposedly something called Parkinsonism, vascular Parkinsonism. So it's like you just don't know where this is all going to lead. And I guess I'm in a group called Recovery International, which is for mental health. It says anticipate securely or not at all. But I didn't anticipate any of this. I
Right.
never thought I would be diagnosed with PAD.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that in my family at all. It's possible my dad had it, but I don't know.
There are a lot of things that can lead to it. And especially, inflammation in our body, the ultra processed foods that we're eating. The number one best thing, best New Year's resolution you can make is no processed foods. Just clear it out, eat the perimeter of the supermarket, and get rid of the processed foods because they're wreaking havoc. They're causing leaky gut, the food, you know, wreaking havoc on our arteries. You really need to consider that. They just came out with a new food pyramid, which I haven't done any real research on it. I've just seen it shared a few times. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. Maybe we can talk about that during one of our Monday sessions with Dr. Michael Danziger, maybe this Monday, and get his thoughts on the new food pyramid. I guess they just basically flipped it upside down. But their whole thing is let's get rid of the processed foods. And I think that that's so important.
And
Don't you
Brenda,
think, Imelda?
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
is that Brenda?
Actually,
Hi,
no, I
Brenda.
Yes,
think we should
I'm not going to
all
be on long because I'm hurting right now.
Oh
Um, I
no.
had I had a partial amputation on Christmas Eve, and
Oh,
so it's
Merry Christmas.
really bothering me. And I went to the doctor today to get some of the stitches out because they want to see if the blood flow got down there and whatnot. So and that was the stitches were worse than the operation. My goodness, getting those out. So I just want you guys just to keep me in your prayers and that I get through this because this is really hurting me, you know. And I just got in from DC. Um, so that's the story of me, you know. And
Hey,
how
Brenda,
much is it?
where are you? Where are you these days?
I'm in Laurel, Maryland, but I go to George Washington University Hospital.
Yeah, I thought we talked about getting a second opinion from a certain doctor.
I did. I went to him and everything. I got their second opinion. Then he said, even at that second opinion, that he felt I still needed the amputation. I was
Okay.
still going to need it. But then I had wanted him to call me back and his assistant Amber, and Amber never called me back. You
Oh,
know,
well, I can take care of that.
could you
I
please
can
do
take
that?
care of that. Oh
Because I
yeah.
was going. I went on a Friday, and she said somebody called me and said come in on Monday for this procedure, and I said I don't even know what this vein map was all about. What did you find? It was just crazy. I ran after her for about a week. And so finally, I just said, you know what? I got to get this done. So I went ahead and got the partial amputation.
Okay. It's a what do they call it? TMA, transmetatarsal.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
But
Well,
it's,
the good news is we have so many people that have had that and they do great once they heal. You just make sure you stay on top of it. Make
uh-huh.
sure you do have offloaders. In the group, we also have Dr. David Alper and Dr. Jean Chen. Jean Chen is our new diabetic educator, but she's a retired podiatrist. She's
Okay.
in the group. So either one of them, if you just post a note and then post that a picture of it in the comments of your post,
Okay.
so that people, when they're scrolling, they know something's coming, but they don't have to see it. But
Right,
post it in
right.
the comments of the post,
Hmm.
and I can go ahead and tag Dr. Alper and Dr. Chen for you. And if they
Right.
have any additional thoughts for you, questions to ask your doctor, things to just double check and make sure of to ensure
Okay.
proper healing, we can offer those to you as well.
Thank you. Because I have to go every Wednesday. I have to go back next Wednesday back to this doctor so he can still scrape. He's got to still scrape and take some stitches out to see, because the bone was infected.
Yeah, that's no
So,
fun.
yeah, so that's what I'm going through, you guys. And I seen you on, and I said I just wanted to come in and say hi to you, and that I'm
Yes,
thinking
we're
and
here
praying for each
for
of
you.
you. Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Well, go
So,
ahead and message me
uh
and make and so I can make sure I have your correct phone number, date of birth and stuff so I can send it to Amber
okay,
and the team.
okay,
And
okay.
I'm
Thank you
happy
very
to do
much.
that. Of
Thank you very
course,
much.
anytime. But also, really quick. So Imelda brings up a really good point about diet, and diet does really help. You want to make sure there is a drink for wound care. It's by Abbott, ABBOTT. I'm trying to
Uh-huh.
think if anyone has Amazon in front of them and they can look it up for me.
See,
I'm trying to think of what it's called, but
let
it's
me-
by Abbott and it's a wound care drink. And it's a little pricey, but it's worth it because you need to get certain nutrients into you to help with wound healing. And one of the things that they always say is making sure you're getting enough protein in your diet for wound healing. Diet
exactly.
plays a huge role. The other thing that nurse practitioner Deidre was talking about today, there you go. Thank you, Allie. Juven. It's called Juven. Juven. It's
Okay,
by
wait a minute.
Abbott.
Let me type that in here.
Allie for the win. Thank you.
JUVV. Say that again. JU.
Juven.
And can I tell you one more thing? And I'm gonna go. When she was taking my bandages off last week, you know what she did? She had the scissors in her hand and all the bandages, and she cut me on the side of my foot. I said, "You're cutting me. You're." She says, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Well, you just do it yourself." And she hands me the scissors, and then when I just went ahead and took the sensitive. Oh, I was, and she said, "Oh, I did cut you. Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Please, I don't
I
need
would
anybody."
definitely would take a picture of that and tell the doctor when you see him.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
crazy.
my.
Well,
You know,
especially when they don't listen. If you say, "Hey, you're cutting me. I'm sorry, but don't deny it, double check it."
yeah. And be careful
And
because you know how
so,
we are about our toes and feet, and it's just like,
yeah, because I don't want that to get infected.
oh God,
But
yeah,
also, Brenda, ask your podiatrist about some peptides. So peptides can also help with wound healing. We did a great, if you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the way to my heart. We just did a great interview with nurse practitioner Deidre today on supplements, and she was talking about peptides for wound healing. So that's something to
peptides.
have a great
Okay,
discussion with your doctor about as well. If there are any peptides that might be helpful in expediting your wound healing.
okay. Thank you very much, Kim.
Hey, Kim, you talked about the
Welcome.
eating. He talked about eating. We were talking in the Monday night group to a gentleman. He said, I quit drinking. I changed my diet completely. But he said when he first got into the group and he heard these things, he said, I would get off and kind of laugh because it's like, whatever, I really didn't believe that the necessity would make that big a difference. But he was telling us Monday night, he absolutely beyond knows that he feels better beyond the shadow of a doubt because he's changed his eating habits and he's not drinking. And he says it has made that big a difference in his health and his walking and how far he can walk now and how he just feels all around. So yes,
Right.
it does make a difference,
Yeah, it does.
doesn't it, Thomas?
Yep.
Thomas does a great job with diet as well. Thomas, you want to share some of your good eats that you're using for artery health? Because I was impressed when you asked me to make a shopping list. I was like, wow, he really likes the good stuff.
Well, number one thing is lots of protein, lots of it. Natural yogurt, fruit, oats, drop of milk. And if you're trying to keep your weight on, which I do, when I make a bowl, it's like 450 calories, good calories. And then I still have my protein shakes as well. One that Beth knows about, the walnut smoothie.
Beth, why
I
are you
did
making a
It's
face?
gross.
because I
It's
tried
just
to.
gross.
It told me to do.
Listen to him.
It told me to do half a cup. Okay, and you can mix it with like really low fat milk. So I thought, okay, didn't have my protein shake to keep my weight on, so I did a cupful of walnuts and half a pint of low fat milk. Oh boy, I didn't know if I wanted to go to sleep, if I had gas, if I needed to sit in the bathroom. I was hot. So I gave that one a miss. And now,
He
Oh
but
complained so
now
much.
it was
We were
just too
talking.
much. It was just too many calories.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
were
in
talking.
a
no.
cup,
Just like,
in a
yeah.
cup of walnuts, I think there's 750 calories.
Yep.
You know, and I drank it like I should have learned from doing my smoothies that I do, my protein shakes, because if I down them in one, I don't feel good for 3 hours. But other than that, I do fried foods are a complete no. You know, I was walking past somewhere the other day and I could smell bacon. I was like, it's like no.
Have
So
you tried
yeah,
turkey bacon, Thomas?
huh?
Have you tried turkey bacon?
I'll give you a laugh about that. When I was in hospital, okay, one of the thousands of times I was in, because my arteries, my heart and stuff,
Mhm.
they come up and they put my meal in front of me. And it's when I had my stent, my third stent put in my coronary artery on the left side. And I looked in the plate and I was like, oh, I got bacon. And I was like, I wonder if they messed up. Then when I tasted it, it was boiled turkey bacon. I like turkey, but not so much love the turkey bacon.
And
Yeah.
Thomas, Beth is treading on thin ice because we're from the South, and when you talk about bacon, if it ain't real bacon, it ain't bacon. So for some of us,
Exactly.
Hey,
Exactly. That's the same in Glasgow, Scotland.
I'm from Iowa. We have a lot of pigs there, so we have a lot of bacon too. So I get the bacon stuff. It's just not a southern thing.
But
So
on top of that,
Marie put in the chat, and I've tried this before, and it's really good. You have to get a good recipe, but homemade carrot bacon. So you can mandolin bacon, or you can take, a shaver, a peeler, and you can peel really thin slices and then put some olive oil on the bottom. And I think it's all about what you season it with. And it actually, you can crisp it up really, really well. And it's really satisfying. But you have to, when you're eating it, any of these substitutes, you have to kind of go, okay, it's not bacon. It's not going to taste like bacon. It's not going to feel like bacon, but it's an alternative, right? And it can be satisfying. I had it once. I don't know how to make it, Marie. Marie, I don't know if you have a link that you can share with us, but that would be great, because I know you can actually make carrot hot dogs too. But I love the way they phrase it's a carrot hot dog. So you can actually take a carrot and you can marinate it overnight and you can cook it up. And then I'll usually cook it up in, this sounds funny, but in chicken stock, because it just adds a little bit more flavor to it. You might think it just defeats the whole purpose, but I don't know. Because I'm allergic to hot dogs. Weird thing to be allergic to. I think it's the preservatives or sulfites or something. Anyway, but you can, put it in a wrap with some lettuce and some tomato and a pickle, it's and some Dijon mustard, and it's delicious.
no, I'm
Just an
allergic to
option.
mustard.
Oh, you're allergic to mustard?
Yep.
All mustard? Even
hmm
Dijon?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And I don't like the smell of it either.
I
It,
thought I
it
was the only weird one in the group.
Nope. And seafood, I'm allergic to seafood. I just don't eat it. I don't like it. I'm allergic to the smell of it.
only when I sit or do something.
You're allergic to the smell of it?
I just don't like the smell of it.
Oh, you just don't like the smell of it.
It's nasty.
But you still eat really good. It's really interesting that you said about the walnuts, because I make walnut milk, but I use a half a cup of walnuts to 2 cups of water when I make a smoothie that's usually for 2 days for my
Right.
dad and I. So each of us so it makes 4 16-ounce glasses of smoothie. But that's what I use as my base because I can't have milk. I also sometimes will add a little bit of coconut water to it, but my base is literally half a cup of walnuts and then 2 cups of water. And then I add in, of course, my blueberries. I add in my collagen and my raw cacao and my pea protein powder and chia seeds. I always add to it. I add cucumber, I add celery, I add lots and lots and lots of spinach, and then my blueberries, and that is my smoothie.
And y'all, you know what I find fascinating listening to y'all is before we got here, how many of us thought eating healthy was going to be too hard, and it all of it's going to taste
Yeah.
horrible, and it's going to be too much work. And I have found with the Instapot, the slow cooker, the air fryer, how actually easy it is sometimes to eat healthier than I ever have my whole life. And it really doesn't take a whole lot sometimes to do
No,
this.
and Joshua has 2 great things that I don't know if you were there when he shared. So he has 2 air fryer things that are literally a godsend. Number 1, wings with Old Bay seasoning, number 1. Number 2, he shared that a sweet potato in the air fryer for 45 minutes is golden. And you can get a purple sweet potato, which it's like eating sugar. They're so good. And they have more antioxidants than blueberries. All
Hmm.
air fryer. Sounds
'Cause I
good, huh, Douglas?
Yeah, I have an air fryer now, and I'm ready to start going to cook. I'm going shopping tomorrow, going shopping tomorrow, and I'm ready to start. Not gonna get no bacon. I'm gonna get some good healthy stuff. A lot of fruit.
Purple sweet potatoes and chicken wings and Old Bay seasoning.
That and I'm ready to do. I'm ready to try some salmon. I want to go back to having some more fish. Salmon
Good for
sounds
you. Make sure it's wild.
right. So, and it's that part, yeah. And because when I heard you say this 5 years ago, it's like eat, Doug, eat healthier, eat healthier. It's like squash sucks, cabbage sucks, blueberries suck. All these things, they were horrible growing up. But now I'm eating things that I never dreamed I would be
Yeah.
eating today. And it's
Yep.
like, man, I miss mushrooms. I should have been eating mushrooms my whole life, and squash and cabbage and blueberries. Blueberries are great at 2 o'clock in the morning for a snack.
Oh yeah. Blueberries with a few walnuts. Oh my goodness. It's a dream. Absolutely love them. I'm addicted.
And
And you know
what's
what I
that?
do is I put them in what? Put them in yogurt. Forager. I like Forager cashew milk yogurt.
Huh.
Never heard of that one.
Kim,
Yeah, I
when
put my
you when you
blueberries and
make your
walnuts in
sweet
there.
potatoes, do you put
What
anything
about
on
what'd
them?
you say,
Do you
Mark?
cut them up?
Melda, what did you say?
When you make your sweet potatoes in the air fryer, do you cut them into pieces? You cut
Oh,
them into slices?
Joshua's gonna have to chime in here because I don't know how he does it. I think he might poke some holes in it.
Yeah,
He's
you
actually typing.
poke them all
You poke
over and
holes
then
in it.
put them in the oven, put them in the air fryer for 45 minutes at 400. And they
Okay.
turn out really, really tender.
Do you
Yeah,
put
he says
spices
it's
on
almost
them?
like mashed potato. And get the
And
purple ones.
I didn't know you could put strawberries, bananas, and apples in there and freeze dry them for like
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. And you can also put chicken and strips in there and dry them out
You,
for your dog. Good treats.
you can cook a good steak in the air fryer too.
Grass fed, grass finish.
So you
Four
can
I don't
chop
eat a
ounces
lot of
only.
steak.
veggies.
I don't eat a lot of steak.
So
We just
the
cleaned
It's
out
not
amazing
my
bad if you
part,
get
freezer
the right.
today.
the
Of all the
amazing part
meat
of
that
this
was in
journey
there.
and what we're learning and how it changes our lives for the good. No matter where we are in this journey, all of us are in a different location, doing different things, have different scenarios going on, different physical, but we all share one thing: hope, courage, and strength with each other.
Right.
And we can laugh, pick on each other, and we can still just because we have PAD doesn't mean we don't have to stop. We stop living. Y'all
No,
leave Google alone. Stay off of Google. Don't get
stay
on.
off of Google.
Stay off of Google because you're not going to die in 2 years. 5 years.
4 or 5.
Yeah. So, and there is hope. Build them collaterals. Walk, walk, walk every day.
No,
Walk,
it,
walk, walk.
I was 45 years old when I had my first stent put in my body, and it was put in the LAD valve of my heart. That's what they call the Widowmaker's valve. I had a
Same here.
90%. Yeah, I had a 90% blockage. I was 45 years old, and I've ate more healthier now than what I did when they put that stent in my heart when I was 45, and I'm 56 now.
And not only that, 1 year and how many days without a cigarette?
Oh yeah, December 15th of 2024 was when I had my last cigarette. So it's been over a year. Yeah.
Wow,
How's
good for
that
you,
feel?
Beth.
How what?
It's
How does
amazing.
that feel?
It's amazing. Sometimes I think, sometimes I think that I might want a drag off of one, and then I think to myself, as bad off as I was, as sick as I was with all that coughing, and I couldn't maneuver, I couldn't do nothing. I was having a hard time breathing. If I was to have a cigarette now, I think it would probably put me in my grave. I just have no desire. I think that I want it, but then I think about what it would do to me, and it's not worth it. I've got,
I bet
no.
if you had one, you wouldn't like
It,
it.
Imelda, what's that?
She
I
said if
bet
I
if you,
had one, I wouldn't like it. Well, Imelda, I'm gonna tell you this: I wouldn't take no chances. So to put one in front of me,
well,
that's
as
the
long
You
as
know
best
you do
what
way to
this,
that?
solve that one.
You know
I
what
actually
that
Don't
bumped
even
feels?
want a
one cigarette
temptation.
off a person at the laundromat one year, back in 1985. And I didn't even smoke before that. I had
But
that one cigarette, and I never wanted another one.
I had an appointment here about 2 weeks ago, and this is no lie. The transportation company that picked me up, they came, picked me up, it took me to my appointment. As I was going to my appointment, the lady says, "Do you mind if I smoke?" And she lit up a cigarette, and I'm like, "Roll your window down, please." It stunk so bad. And then
Oh
she was
no.
smoking on the way back of bringing me home. And by the time I got home, my clothes reeked of cigarettes. That's all I could smell. It's like it had
Yikes.
planted itself in my nostril hairs or whatever, because that's all I could smell for like a whole day was cigarette smoke. And it was awful.
You know what that's all about, right? Is all of us having to become our best advocates for ourselves. Our doctors can do what they can do. The nurses do what they can do. All those people outside, but we have to absolutely become engaged in our recovery. We have
Right.
to become our best advocates today. That's learning to eat right, stop smoking, walk, ask the right questions, get second opinions, all that stuff. But we have to take on that responsibility of saving a life and a limb, and that's ours.
Right.
We have to be responsible for that.
There's two
Yeah,
things that I've done since being diagnosed with PAD, and one is quit smoking, and two is quit drinking.
good for
Well,
you.
I was
You have
diagnosed. Go ahead, Kim.
No, I just because Douglas and I were there when you spoke and gave your testimonial at was it
Yeah.
one of your meetings, and I felt so honored that you invited me to be there and to be a part of it. And your story is just remarkable. If you ever want to share, I don't think that we've ever sat and shared your story
We have.
because you have such strength, and I know that you still have a long journey ahead, and it's a lot to go through, and it's a roller coaster. But you always show up, and I really give you so much credit that you show up. And Douglas is agreeing with me too. He had his hand up and he's like, "Yep." Um, it's so I think that that's step one, is to show up, and you
You
show
know,
up in
I
every
think,
one of these.
Well,
You
I'm gonna
want to
back to
learn, you want to grow, you want to try, you want to live, and
yeah,
I'm gonna
we're
back the
with
bus up
you
over Beth.
every step.
I'm gonna back the bus up over Beth real quick because I'm gonna ask this question. When was
No, no
when,
backing the bus up.
when's
I'm
the
backing
last
the
one?
bus up, calling her out. When's the last time you had a drink?
Oh, it was July of 24. I don't remember the date, but I know it was in the month of July because I called a very dear friend of mine, Douglas, thank you. And
Oh,
um, I spoke with him, and that was the last. I mean, I haven't had a drink since then.
So look how far you come from
No.
the cigarettes
wow.
and the drinking and the little Debbie's, all the stuff we
Hey,
harassed.
I had to have little Debbie tonight. She saved my life. My blood sugar's dropped to 52.
So, but look how far
The
you.
little Debbie's, you gotta have something, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's gotta have some vice. That's yours.
Blood
We'll give
sugar
you the
dropped to
little Debbie,
52.
Beth. You got the little Debbie. You're allowed. I'll pass.
Tim, you don't know this, but I went to my sister's for Christmas. I shared this, and anyway, I went to my sister's for Christmas, and she handed me this gift, and it's a 2 Grammy, Grammy. So it's for my grandkids, My sister had bought it. She handed it to me. I opened it up, and it was 2 boxes of Little Debbie zebra cakes. And this was for Christmas. And do you know I still have them in my refrigerator?
Oh,
I had to open them though because they did have a pack tonight to bring my blood sugars up.
oh
But yeah,
yeah.
but
And
you were
I told
saying that I'm
her,
always there and always showing up. Kim, I do that because I want to learn from others, and I hope that others can learn by me showing up.
Yep.
I hope that, my story can help someone, so I mean that's why I guess I show up for stuff because you never know who's
No,
going
and
to
we
be there that's
appreciate
going
it.
to take of it. Yeah,
It means more than you know. When each one of you shows up and you share your story, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. It doesn't matter whether it's a success or a struggle. Someone's going to relate to it. Someone's going to say, "Hey, you know what? I feel the same way," and it's puts them at greater peace to know that someone else can relate, that they're not
that's
alone in
right.
this whole thing.
That's right.
And the one line I always draw, in everything we do is we don't want to create a community where misery loves company, and that everything's going to lead to a downward spiral and we're going to start going down the rabbit hole. And we don't end up with the culture
But
we've created. We don't do that. It's a productive conversation. And I think that everyone ends up, being in a place where they're safe to be where they are. They're okay to be in their own little poopy corner, their own little poopy face, and pout and feel what they want to feel. And I say that and I joke about it because that's how I talk to myself, where I say, It's okay. I can be on my own little poopy corner with my own little poopy face, with my own pain, with my own thing. Like, that's okay. But the key is, do I prefer to feel better? And I always prefer to feel better. And that's always a question with every one of you that I ask. That's okay. Be where you are. But do you prefer to feel better? And the
Mhm.
answer should always be yes. Do you need to feel better now? No, 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 no. But as long as you want to feel better, and you know what it's going to take to feel better. We all have something that will make us feel better. For me, it used to be, and I used to joke about it, was my vanilla lattes. And I knew when I was in that moment that my vice, my one thing that I knew would always make me feel better, and I knew I could always get it, would be a vanilla latte. Well, I've cut down on all my sugar. So my new vice, which is really funny, it's a little healthier, is I always absolutely love that really healthy olive oil with Celtic salt over, wait for it,
Popcorn.
popcorn. And I know this always makes me smile. Is it the healthiest thing in the world? No, but is it healthier than a vanilla latte from Starbucks with 4 pumps of vanilla in it? Yeah, I
Yeah.
would think so. So, um, that's the kind of process I go through. Feel what you want to feel. Remind yourself, do I prefer to feel better? Make sure it's yes. And then what is it that will make me feel better when I'm ready? You don't have to be ready now, but you need to know that when you are ready, that you know where you're going to go to feel better, if that makes sense. And for
Right.
you, Beth,
Yep.
it was to call Douglas. You said, I'm where I am. I know I prefer to feel better. What am I going to do to make myself feel better? Because I am ready to feel better. I'm going to call Douglas.
Yeah.
And Beth and I talked. This is what we were talking about, and her and I still talk about this same way. Is I can have a bad day, but still be moving forward.
Right.
That's a really great way to phrase it.
I can have a bad day, and the moment I sit on the couch, that's where I'm going to be. The moment I stand up off the couch, that's where I'm going to be. When I take that very next step, that's where I'm going to be. But as long as I'm on the couch, I can't expect collaterals to grow. I can't expect to be in a positive mood all the time because I'm
Yep.
sitting. I'm not moving forward.
And even if you can't get up and walk, there's still exercises that you can do to help build those collaterals. Move your feet around in circles. Bring your toes all the way up to your legs and all the way down to the floor. And I do that because right now I'm on restrictions because of being so anemic. I have a lot of edema going on. So my doctors want me to stay off my feet and legs because I'm swelling up so bad. So, and that's what I do. I'll sit here in my recliner, I get up, I do what I have to do, come back in, sit down, and I'll get here and I'll start moving my feet around and my
Good for you.
ankles and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yoga
yeah,
toes.
yeah,
Yoga
them
toes, and the
ankles
PAD
get to burning.
100.
Them
Is that the
ankles
PAD
get to
100?
burning though, especially when they're swollen really bad.
And being positive is a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
So after what I've gone through today, I'm gonna have a little dinner. I'm gonna change my clothes, and I'm gonna go out. And for me, it's putting a piece of wood in front of me and doing something with it. So I can go out and sit on my work area and still keep working on my tiny house.
Yep.
Because if I sit here on the couch after today, well then I don't feel like I'm it just I need to get out and do something. I'm gonna get out, put a piece of wood in my hand and keep moving forward, even though I don't feel like it. And
Right.
that's about having to be responsible for our mental health as well as we do our physical health. And
So what do
finding
you think? Go ahead, Douglas.
and it's about all of us finding something for each of us as individuals that excite us, that make us feel like we want to keep living, that gives us that inspiration. That's drawing, writing, doing whatever it is. Find
Yeah.
something that you're still excited about. Just because we have PAD doesn't mean life comes to a stop. Y'all get
Nope.
that out of your head. I have PAD, but I'm also a brother. I'm also a friend. I'm all these other things other than just somebody living with the disease. Does that make sense to y'all?
It
So
it
Yeah.
does. And Imelda wanted to give you a little compliment there, Douglas. Imelda, do you want to share about when he was talking about walking to the mailbox?
Doug, one time we were talking about just walking to your mailbox, and that gave me a lot of inspiration. And I figured, Dave said I
that's
can't walk outside, I can at least
where it
walk to my
starts.
front room.
If you can't walk
Did you
to
hear
your
what
mail,
she, Douglas, did you hear what she said?
I'm having trouble hearing her from here.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
I
hard to
said
hear.
I can at least walk to my front room,
Yeah,
She says if
and
you
then
can
maybe
walk to
walk
your
around the rest of my
mailbox,
house. Because
she
you
at
said you
least
were
can
walking to
walk
your
out the
mailbox.
front door. She can walk, right? Imelda, is that what you said? You can walk to the front
Walk
door. You can walk.
down my sidewalk all the way to the sidewalk. And sometimes
Yeah.
and sometimes I don't get walking until 4 o'clock, and then it's too late because I've lost all my energy. So I think you guys are inspiring me. I want to start a new habit of walking earlier. Because then maybe I
Good
can
for
walk
you.
all the way to the sidewalk, and I can walk down the block too.
That was
Instead of
Yep.
just turning right around.
Collateral Nation. It's very simple. You join Collateral Nation with that first step,
Yep.
whether it's to the end of the couch or walking around the coffee table, walking down the hall to your bedroom and back and walking back and forth to the end of the driveway, to the mailbox. That very first step you take is the journey. It and there's a TV show that reminds me of this. Is it's not the it's not the it's not the total where we end that makes it worth it. It's that journey getting there.
The journey. Hmm.
There's a movie where this guy teaches this kid who was in gymnastics. He broke his leg on a motorcycle, and he met this older gentleman. And one day that he got him, convinced him with a lot of bitching, a lot of moaning, complaining. This kid got to the top of the hill, and that he asked the gentleman, what was all this worth? He said, look down. He looked down, and there was a rock, a simple old rock. And the kid was mad, literally mad. He said, you made me do this for this rock. He said, hang on a minute. Did we talk and tell jokes and do all this stuff getting to here? He said, yeah. He said, wasn't that the whole point? Is the journey and learning to live life on a life daily basis.
Yep.
I got off there on tangent. I'm sorry. But
So I'm wondering if we should, as we head out, we've been having this great conversation for an hour. It's been a wonderful PAD Leg Saver Hotline. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It really helps to get the word out and lets YouTube know that we have great content that more people should see. So if you like the video and subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/the @ the way to my heart, it really helps us to get the word out there. Plus I get a penny for every video you guys watch. So it's
Really?
awesome.
Hey, they'll be going
Great
up to a nickel now because they quit
It's-
making pennies.
Oh gosh. Well, it adds up. So I don't know how they're going to do that actually. That would be interesting. But basically when you guys watch, you know, they do a supposedly a penny donation is what I figured out. It breaks it down to about a penny. That, you know, ends up going to help save life and limb. It doesn't go in my pocket, but it helps save life and limb through the foundation. But before we go, I wanted to just hear from a few people. Let's just call on a few people just to share something that they're going to do. As I said, and we talked about this whole time. It's a roller coaster. Douglas showed what he's going to do to help, you know, end the day, you know, on a positive note. So maybe we get Allie. Allie, if you could chime in, what is one, you know, good thing that you're doing? You know, if you're in your own kind of little poopy corner or whatever, is there one thing that you do that you know you can do to make yourself feel better?
I guess right today was joining this this meeting because I'm just got diagnosed with it like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
I'm trying to learn as much as I can.
Oh, wow. Well, we're here. Are you in the US?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in Tennessee, East Tennessee.
Oh, near Chattanooga?
Uh, Knoxville.
Knoxville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we have one of the best that's over in the Chattanooga area. I just sent some from Knoxville over to Murfreesboro because she couldn't find a surgeon there that could actually save her leg. So
Wow.
we sent her to Murfreesboro.
That's
Murfreesboro?
Murfreesboro. It's like a metro of Nashville. Nashville's like a
Yeah.
pretty big city. They got Vanderbilt University, so
Mm.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, over on the east side, though, we have Dr. Christopher Lazar is a legend, and he's over
Okay.
on that end.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, just don't Dr. Google PAD. Our group has some great resources, padsupportgroup.org, and you can go down the featured section. You'll find questions to ask your doctor.
Okay.
You'll find, we have all these events all week long on
Wow. Okay.
Wednesdays. Wednesdays are our busiest days because on Wednesdays, at 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning, Douglas was talking about our collateral nation. We actually have a brilliant resource, wonderful human on this planet, 82-year-old, half Ironman triathlete that has PAD, has full blockages groin to toe, and he still competes at a world level. And
Wow.
he's created a PAD training program. And if you join every Wednesday, it's like having your own personal coach,
Wow. Okay.
holding you accountable, offering you exercises, helping to customize your plan, helping you with, any successes and struggles you may have. He meets you every step of the way, and it's every Wednesday. Plus, we have a lot of fun. He is very high on the spectrum, and so he's unemotional, but he has the best sense of humor, and he has the biggest heart, and he's just brilliant. He has his PhD in pathology, so he just understands the human body like no other. And when they
Wow.
told him, doctors said there was nothing they could do, he was like, no, I got to still compete. I love my marathons. I love doing these things.
Wow.
I'm not going to stop. So he had to figure out ways in which he could do it. So all of his tips, his tricks. He has a YouTube page, youtube.com/the @fit old dog. And I always suggest to start with the yoga toes and progress to the PAD 100. And then the third video I would always say to watch after that would be how to turn your calves and your feet into remote pumping stations, because
Wow.
that will change how you walk. And all of his tips and tricks, literally, we have someone in our group named Mike, and you might have, seen him just the other day. He posted about his cold feet, but overall, he was diagnosed, I think, in January. He thought his life was over, and they didn't give him anything, no tips, no tricks. You Dr. Google says you're going to be dead in 5 years. And he found our group, and with working with us and just being transparent, showing up, being there for the Wednesdays, he went from barely being able to get out of his house because he didn't want to walk up the hill. He could get down the hill, but he couldn't get back up the hill with his calf pain. He, in 6 months, actually, just in, I think it was November, Douglas,
Yes.
he completed
Yeah.
a 13K without
Wow. Wow.
stopping walking. I mean, he wasn't
Wow.
running. He went at his own
Yeah.
pace, but he did a 13K, and he improved his ABI result from a 0.7 up to a full 1 as if he was normal. I mean, it was extraordinary.
And Allie, you can text any one of us in here anytime you need to share or you want to talk or just whatever. We're here for you, okay?
Wow. Thank you so much, Doug. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you seem really young, and there's so much you can do. It is not a death sentence at all. Everyone has it for a reason, and all we have to do, you can give a call to our Leg Saver hotline, and Usually Douglas and I kind of beat everyone else to the punch and getting the call. We have another nurse practitioner and another women who answer the phones, and they can never get the calls because Douglas and I are really quick to the punch. But um, happy to jump on with you, and we could talk more about PAD. We can talk more about what are collateral vessels. How do you develop them? How do you walk more effectively to build them? It becomes really, really fun as you start realizing just how you can take your health into your own hands. You can clean up your arteries, get the right olive oil. We talk all the time. If you go to our YouTube channel, we have videos we just posted today, one on olive oil. And there's one particular olive oil that even vascular surgeons and cardiologists here in the US are now prescribing for their patients because it has the highest polyphenol count. And there was a study that just came out. I think it was, I don't know if it was from Harvard or Europe. Can't remember. Big difference, but I don't know. But I saw that they're now saying that your inflammation in your body, your CRP, is a better marker for artery health than even your basic lipid panel, cholesterol. So, really working on bringing down the inflammation in your arteries, getting the right olive oil, getting on that beetroot powder for your blood pressure, um, making sure you're including raw cacao in your diet if you're not allergic. These are all things that can really make a huge difference. And I said earlier, get rid of the processed foods, find
Right.
alternatives. Douglas started out with an Instapot. He's a single person living in his trailer. And he was like, well, how do I have a good diet if I have this? Well, he got an Instapot, made a huge difference. Then he fell in love with that. He wanted something bigger. So he got a slow cooker. And then he was excited and enjoyed that. So now he's got an air fryer, and he's really all in and trying new things to improve his diet. And it really does make a difference. My dad just got his PET scan for his heart for the first time since 2017, no ischemia. And his stents were clear. And it's just the little changes that you make, getting rid of the bread, getting rid of the regular pasta. All of that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And so, Allie, I got a question for you. You're part of the gang now, all right?
Yes, sir.
Are you a volunteer?
Uh, oh no, the Vols. No,
Oh,
I
okay.
grew up
All
in
right.
Cali. I've been here a few years. I like it, but I'm not a real fan. I'm not gonna pretend I am. But yeah, they love their Vols.
Yep. So I'm a bulldog. So if you were going to be a volunteer, I got some great jokes, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, in the South, the football is huge down here. I don't think other
Oh,
regions
yeah,
really understand how big it is. Yeah,
it
it's
is.
something else.
I know it is.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the crew. We're
Thank you,
going
everybody.
to end the live broadcast. Everyone in the live studio audience is always welcome to stick around after we end the live broadcast on YouTube. If you want to join the live broadcast and actually see who's in the studio audience, you can always email us at info@padhelp.org and join our live studio audience. I know if you're sitting there on YouTube, it's just me and Douglas and I back and forth, and you can only hear who's talking. You can't see them. So go ahead and email us and join our in studio crew and show us who you are and see who we're talking to. But we really appreciate you. Please continue to join us every single week. Subscribe to our channel, join our Facebook group at padsupportgroup.org. And don't forget, if you have any questions about PAD, you need help finding the most advanced limb saver in your area, you have questions about diet or exercise, call our Leg Saver hotline at 1-833-PAD Legs.
Walk,
Happy New Year, everyone.
walk, walk.